Welcome to Course 2, Lesson 23. In this lesson we start to move ahead a little bit in the math course. We're not doing so much reviewing. This should be review for you still, but these concepts may be more difficult than what we've done up until this point. In this lesson we're going to be subtracting mixed numbers by regrouping and borrowing. We're going to subtract mixed numbers from a whole number and vice versa. There is no new vocabulary for this lesson. All the vocabulary that we use you should be familiar with. So let's get started. When you have 2 3/5 and you have to subtract 4/5, what is the problem that you run into? If we take and we stack this, can we subtract 4 from 3? We can't. We're gonna have to borrow from this 2, and that's what this lesson is about. Being able to regroup and to change this 2 3/5 by changing this to a 1 and 3/3, or 5/5, excuse me, plus the 3/5. So we end up with 1 8/5 minus 4/5, and that we can do, which is 1 4/5. And we're going to do that. So let's start out. There's 3 1/5 pies on the shelf. If a baker takes away 1 2/5 pies, how many pies will be on the shelf? The answer to this question, to get the answer, we subtract 1 2/5 from 3/5. And that's really the first thing you've got to figure out in these problems is what's being subtracted from what. But before we subtract, however, we're going to show you some pictures that the way a baker would solve this. And I always like to draw pictures also if I get confused. So I really like how they illustrate this. So here we got 3 holes, 1 2 3 1/5. So we got 3 1/5. When we come here and the baker looks at this, the baker can take out of that 3 1/5, he can pull out the 1 2/5 right here. He can subtract 1 2/5, which leaves him 1 4/5. And that's how you do it with pictures. But you're not going to be able to always draw pictures, so we need to be able to do it by subtraction on paper. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take this 3 1/5, because the problem we've got is that we can't subtract this 2 from the 1. We can't do that. So we know from what we've learned in prior lessons that 5/5 is the same thing as 1. 3/3 is the same thing as 1. 100/100 is the same thing as 1. So we can take this 3 and we can borrow it, turn it into a 2, and we can borrow 1, and the one we're going to borrow, we're going to choose to borrow because it matches this 5, is 5/5. By doing that, we now add this together and we get 2 6/5, because 5 plus the 1 is 6. 6/5. Now we can subtract it. This 6 minus the 2 is 4. We bring down our 5, and then 2 minus 1 is 1. Our answer is 1 4/5. Hopefully you all know how to do this. We're going to practice this though. We need to regroup in order to subtract here. The mixed number 3 5/8 equals 2 plus 1 plus 5/8, which equals 2. In this case here, because we're dealing with 8s, we're going to do 8/8, and we're going to combine those together, which is going to give us 2 13/8 minus the 1 7/8. Then we're able to do it. Once we do that, if we take away 1 from there and make it 8/8, add those together, we get our 2 13/8 there. Then we're able to subtract 7 from that 13 and get the 6. Bring our 8 down, and 2 minus 1. So our answer becomes 1 6/8. But we always have to get it into its simplest form. And we know that 2 will go into 6 3 times, and 2 will go into 8 4 times. So our reduced simplest answer is 1 3/4. It's important you remember to reduce to simplest terms. Simplify 83 1/3% minus 41 2/3%. First thing that most students worry about here is that percent sign. Don't even let it bother you. Pretend it's not even there. And once you get your answer, just add it back on. Treat it as like feet or inches or meters or anything like that. So 41 2/3 has that 2/3 fraction is bigger than the 1/3 fraction. So we're going to have to regroup 83 1/3 to be able to subtract it. So do this with me. What do you think? We know we're going to take that 83 and we're going to change it to 82 plus a number that's equal to 1, or a fraction that's equal to 1. What fraction is it going to be? It's going to be 3 over 3. The reason why is because we're dealing with the fractions of a third. So now we got 82 1/3 plus 1/3. So let's look at that. So 82 1/3 plus 1/3 equals 82 4/3. Now we just do the subtraction. 4 minus 2 is 2. Bring down our 3. 2 minus 1 is 1. 8 minus 4 is 4. So we get the 41 2/3. You getting it? And then we make sure we put our percent back in there because that's what the question was talking about. So we have it labeled properly. Let's try another one. Oh, now we got a whole number. How are we going to rewrite that 6 as a mixed number? And obviously, we want the denominator to be 4. Why do we want the denominator to be 4? You're right, because this 4 right there. So if we take that 6 and we borrow from it, that's going to be a 5 plus, remember we want our denominator of 4, so 5 4/4 minus 1 3/4. Does that make sense? So 5 4/4 minus 1 3/4. Can we subtract that now? Sure we can. And when we do, we get 4 1/4 because 4 minus 3 is 1. We down our 4 and 5 minus 1 is 4. Making sense? All right. Now we got 100% minus 16 2/3%. Again, we got to regroup. So we're going to borrow that. We're going to borrow 1 from this 100 and make it 99. And then we're going to use 3/3 because we need that 3. And then we're just going to subtract it. Go ahead and do that. See if you get the right answer. Once we make that into 99 3/3, then we just do our subtraction. 3 minus 2 is 1. Bring down our 3. And then we subtract 99 minus 16, which is 83. And there's our answer. What would we do if, just to illustrate this, what would you do if it was 94 3/3 minus 16 2/3? Would that matter anything? It shouldn't. You'd still go here, and that would be 1. You'd still have your third. And then can 4 subtract 6? It can't. Then you just do normal subtraction. So you'd be 78 1/3. So that doesn't change anything just because they're fractions. These fractions do not affect your normal subtraction right here. All right, here's your practice set. See if you can do both of these on your own without me giving any prompting. See if you can come up with the right answers and then restart the video. You should have come up with 4 3/5 and 87 1/2%. All right. Here's your ticket in the door, 3AB, 17, 21, and 26. Bring your questions to class tomorrow. Thank you for watching the video, and we'll work on this tomorrow in class together.